ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ। ਆਦ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਭੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਭੀ ਸੱਚ। ਆਦ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਭੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਭੀ ਸੱਚ। Thank you, Sangat Ji, for joining today's course. To attend the Sangat today, we have all been chosen by the Divine through our good karma. None of us that are here today in the Sangat are here from our own will. The Divine themselves has guided us all into the Sangat. The Guru says, Vinpaga satasanga na labhe. Without good fortune, without good karma, you can't find the Sadhangat, the Sangat of the Divine, the Sangat of those pious souls. So we're extremely lucky to be here today. Thank you to my sister Han for that beautiful recitation of the Mool Mantar. And also thanks to my brother Rishipal Singh Ji, who at such late notice last week took over this course and delivered a beautiful discourse on some of the key concepts of spirituality. So today's discourse, Sangat Ji, going to be the continuation of those sacred messages that have been revealed to us in the Sri Japji Sahib. The translations that I share with you today and I share with you in this discourse and these discourses are those being revealed to us by the pious souls. Those souls that have spent countless hours imbued in the nectar of the Shabad Mantar. Started this journey delving into these divine messages a few months ago. So before we start today's discourse, I will go through a slightly more in-depth recap on the previous discourses that were done. So let's start from the beginning. The very beginning of the Sri Japji Sahib, which is the Mool Mantar. These were the sacred, holy words that the Divine revealed to Guru Nanak Dev Ji in Sachkhand, the realm of truth, when they were submerged in the Bain River for 3 days. The Mool Mantar, or the root mantra, like the root of a tree, is the very foundation from which the blessed journey of a spiritualist begins. This mantra comprises of some key divine qualities of the Almighty, and through continual recitation of this mantra with concentration, one will start to adopt these qualities to their own life. So these are qualities like Sat, being truthful, being Nirpao, fearless, and Nirvair, all loving and without enemies. The pious souls say that whole of the Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji is the expansion of the Mool Mantra. So the first of Sri Japji Sahib explores some of the false practices that were prevalent in and around the 1400s and before. The world was full of hypocrisy, and spiritualists were more concentrated about their own following and their own fame rather than the actual essence of spirituality, which was connecting to the divine. Guru Nanak exposed practices like keeping fasts of silence, which were preached at that time to enable a divine union. But Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, by abstaining from speech and these other practices, the noise of the mind won't be silent. For you to embark on this journey, you have to follow the divine order, the hukam. The second body is an expansion of what hukam is. Guruji states that all creations, pain, pleasure, etc., etc., all come from this divine order, the hukam. And if one is left by the divine to understand this hukam, then the ego within them will be eradicated. The third body explores the numerous ways people would begin people would express their devotion for the divine. Some would sing of his power, others his virtues. But again, Guruji ends this body with by saying, "Hoi hukm chalai raho, Nanak vigsave parvaho." That the paths that we walk on are placed before us by the Almighty, similar to how we are all in this Sangat today. The fourth body, the Siddhas ask Nanak Dev Ji, what can we say and what can we do to become more pleasing to the divine? Guru Nanak then says, Amrit vela satnao, vadayai vichar. Wake in the early hours of Amrit Vela and chant and contemplate on the divine. In other words, chant your mantra with loving devotion. Guruji again reiterates that the things we possess, like our human body, are all due to our karmas, the blessing and the grace of the divine. Guru Nanak Ji responds to the questions of the Siddhas by saying that the divine isn't someone who's installed onto a throne. He isn't someone who's born, doesn't have parents, but it's far beyond these worldly things. And by singing and listening to the praises of the Lord, one can bring peace within their home. That home, that is the mind and within. Guru Nanak concluded this fifth body with a prayer for us, that may we never forget that one divine that has, is, and will continue to nourish and provide for all of living beings. So Sangatji, before we delve into the sixth body, let's just recite the sixth body to familiarize ourselves with it. Vaheguru Ji Tirath Nava Je Tis Pava Vin Pane Ke Nae Kari Jeti Sirat Upai Vekha Vin Karma Ke Mile Lai ਮਤ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਤਨ ਜਵਾਹਰ ਮਾਣਕ ਜੇ ਇੱਕ ਗੁਰ ਕੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਸੁਣੀ ਗੁਰਾ ਇੱਕ ਦੇਹ 부ਝਾਈ ਸਭਨਾ ਜੀਆ ਕਾ ਇੱਕ ਦਾਤਾ ਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਵਿਸਰ ਨਾ ਜਾਈ ਗੁਰਾ ਇੱਕ ਦੇਹ 부ਝਾਈ ਸਭਨਾ ਜੀਆ ਕਾ ਇੱਕ ਦਾਤਾ ਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਵਿਸਰ ਨਾ ਜਾਈ ਤੀਰਥ ਨਾਵਾ ਜੇ ਤਿਸ ਭਾਵਾ ਵਿਣ ਭਾਣੇ ਕੇ ਨਾਏ ਕਰੀ Sangat Ji, it's important to remember that the Japji Sahib is presented to us in a question and answer format between a group of spiritualists known as the Siddhas or the Siddhs and Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji. The Siddhas, through their spiritual practices, had attained many powers, or Riddhiyan Siddhiyan, as we refer to them in Punjabi. These are powers that for the normal person seem impossible to have, like having superhuman strength, the ability to fly, convert objects into jewels, and so on. So the Siddhas, having spoken to Guru Nanak Dev Ji for a while now, were extremely impressed with the depth of knowledge and the aura the young Guru was illuminating, not knowing that he was the form of the divine himself. So, despite wanting to learn and engage in a discourse with Guru Nanak that would benefit their spiritual wealth, they were so impressed and taken aback with the vast, limited amounts of knowledge Guruji had. They were having doubts and wanted to test Guruji to see if he was actually as divine as they thought. So what the Siddhas decided to do was they humbly requested if Guru Nanak Dev Ji could take a bowl and fill it with water for them to drink, to quench their thirst. So as a service to the Siddh, Guru Nanak Dev Ji travelled through the mountains to the nearest river to fetch the water. But as they approached the river, the water vanished. And instead were hundreds of thousands of gems, rubies, and jewels. The Siddhas have used their spiritual powers and transformed the river into a river of jewels, in hope they could tempt Guru Nanak and recruit him, their group, and teach him their ways. Like I said before, Sangati, these times were more about individual followings, my way is better than yours, than spreading the actual essence of spirituality. Having been blown away by the divinity of Guru Nanak, the Siddhas were thinking, by recruiting Guru Nanak to their ways, more and more people will see the Guru and follow them instead. So some time had passed now. The Siddhas were wondering where Guru Nanak was. They were thinking amongst themselves that it shouldn't have taken the Guru that long to fetch the water from the river. And in their minds, they thought their plan had succeeded, and Guru Nanak Dev Ji had been tempted by those jewels in the river. And in turn, the desire for all these riches would persuade him to join them. As these thoughts were plaguing their minds, Guru Nanak Dev Ji turns, but with an empty bowl. The Siddhas, curious, asked Guruji where the water was. Nanak simply says there was no water. The Siddhas asked multiple times, hoping Guru Nanak would mention something about the millions of gems they had laid instead of the river. But Guru Nanak remained in perfect poise and simply replied that there was no water, not even a single mention of the jewels that were there. The Siddhas were very impressed, and their desire to convert Guru Nanak to their ways increased exponentially. How can we persuade this young soul to our ways, they thought. And after a few moments of silence, one of them spoke and said, You're a divine being. Why don't you join us on our pilgrimage? We will bathe in several holy rivers and cleanse ourselves, which will make us pure for the divine, and in turn, create an everlasting divine union between our soul and the Almighty. To this, Guru Nanak Dev Ji responds, Tirath nava je tis bhava vin bhane ke nae kari. Tirath nava. Tirath, meaning pilgrimages or sites of pilgrim. Nava, to bathe. Je tis bhava. Bhava means if it is pleasing to the divine. So, Tirthanava Jetis Bhava, Guru Nanak Dev Ji are saying to the Siddhas that going on pilgrims are only beneficial if they are pleasing to the divine. Vinapane ke nai kari. With these actions being pleasing to the divine, what you say? Meaning that if you're only going to pilgrimages just to tick a box to make yourself feel spiritual, not actually having the intentions of cleaning within, then this isn't pleasing to the divine, and your efforts of going to the pilgrimage are futile. Sangaji isn't saying that going to pilgrimages are not beneficial, but if you have no actual intention of connecting with the one within, then they are pointless. In this case, the Siddhas only wanted to go on these pilgrimages with Guru Nanak so they could recruit this divine being to their own methods and build and elevate their status. A story comes to mind of the great saint Bhagat Kabir Ji, whose writings are within the Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Kabir Ji were approached by a group of pilgrims who were preparing to go on a long and difficult pilgrimage. They knew of the greatness of Bhagat Kabir Ji and asked for his blessing, and if he would like to accompany them on their journey. Kabir Ji said, due to his old age, he would not be able to bring them on this journey. But after a moment of silence, Kabir got up and went into another room. And a few moments passed, and he returned with a fruit. This particular fruit, the tumba fruit, which is a sort of bitter apple fruit. Kabirji gave this fruit to the pilgrims and said, "As I can't accompany you on this pilgrimage, take this fruit on my behalf. And as you bathe in the holy rivers, please bathe this fruit on my behalf." The pilgrims graciously took the fruit, thanked Kabir for his blessings, and started their journey. After a few days of traveling through harsh winds and storms, the pilgrims had returned from their pilgrimage. Upon returning, they immediately go to Kabirji and tell him about their pilgrimage. Upon arriving, the first thing Bhagat Kabirji said to the pilgrims is if they had followed his instructions of bathing the fruit he had given to them. Right away, one of the pilgrims replied, "Of course, Your Holiness. We spent 1/5 of the time bathing ourselves, and the other 4/5 of the time bathing the fruit." Kabir nodded, thanked them, and took the fruit. He said to the pilgrims, "Been traveling tirelessly for a few days now, and you must be hungry. Let me prepare some food for you to eat." Kabirji leaves and prepares some flatbreads and a chutney for the pilgrims and offers this food to them. Tired and hungry, the pilgrims immediately delve into the food. But as hungry as they were, none of the pilgrims could swallow the food. One of them say, "Thank you, Kabirji, for this beautiful food, but this chutney is so bitter, we can't ingest it." Kabirji asks, "Are you sure you followed my instructions and bathed the fruit on your journey?" They all replied with their hands clasped together and promised Kabir they followed his orders. After a few moments of silence, Kabirji smiles and says, "Oh, my beloved friends, the chutney is made from that very fruit I had given to you on your journey. Know this, my friends, that outward cleansing alone won't eliminate the bitterness of countless lives we have been storing within. To truly connect with the divine, we must start a pilgrimage within and adopt divine values." Sangatji, food for thought. Is this not similar to what we all do in our lives? We meditate, perform seva and acts of kindness, but do it as a chore or everlasting list of things to do. Are we really making this journey within, or are we just outwardly showing spirituality to the world? Arjan Dev Ji says, "Bahar pekh antar malamaya." Outwardly, they wear religious robes, but within is the filth of Maya. Anak tapasya kare ankar, narak surg phir avatar. They will still be trapped in the cycle of reincarnation and won't be able to free themselves. The only way is through true intentions and divine blessings. Tirth nava je tis pava vin pane ke nai kari. Guru Nanak Dev Ji there says, "Jeti sirat upai vekha vin karma ke mila lai." Jeti sirat upai vekha. Guruji says, I look upon this vast creation, but vin karma ke mila lai. But without good karma, created by good actions, we can't and won't receive anything. In this creation of unlimited desires, we pray for good health, wealth, good jobs, a loving family. Without good karma, through the blessings of the divine, we won't receive anything. Vin karma kich paiye nahi, jo tera tave. Without the karma of good deeds, nothing is obtained. Sangaji, as I said at the beginning of the discourse, you're all blessed to be here. Sometimes we might think we've had a bad week or a bad few days. Divine doesn't love us, but this is not true. He is the embodiment of love, and He Himself has blessed you all today to come in Sangat. This wasn't your choice. You are here through your good karmas, blessed by the Divine. I was recently listening to a discourse from a saint. And in this discourse, they say that those people who are only in their first few lives of being human, the thought of going and meditating doesn't even occur. Remember, all transgressed through the 8.4 million life forms, life after life. Those that are in their first few lives as human, even the thought of meditation doesn't occur. So all of us who sit in this today have many lifetimes of blessings to even be here. So let's waste this opportunity. Jeti sirt upai vekha, vin karma ke mile lei. Nothing comes without good karma and the blessings of the Divine. Guru Nanak then says to the Siddhs, Mat vich ratan jawahar manak, je ek gur ki sikh suni. Mat vich, within the mind, there are ratan, jawahar, manak, gems, jewels, and rubies. Guru Nanak is saying to the Siddhs, these material items, the jewels you are trying to tempt me with, are nothing. They're simply a distraction. And instead of trying to accumulate material wealth and status, channel this energy and find the gems of divine love, the jewels of compassion and ability, and the rubies of contentment within. How can we start this journey within Sangatji? Guruji gives the answer straight away. Je ek gur ki sikh suni. All you have to do to start this journey and access the unlimited treasure within is to listen and implement just one of the Guru's teachings. Sangatji, what are these teachings, our Guru and divine prophets? These are teachings like performing seva, helping someone in need, be the support for someone who needs help, guide someone to the path of the divine, control the words that come out of our mouths, control the things we absorb in our ears, control the content we take through our eyes. Sangatji, by listening to and implementing just one of these things, we can transform our lives and start the true pilgrimage within. It is that simple. Guruji ends the sixth Pauri with the same two lines that were revealed to us in the fifth Pauri. Gura ek deh bujai, sabna jiya ka ek ata, so main visar na jai. Gura ek deh bujai, sabna jiya ka ek data, so main visar na jai. Oh, my beloved Divine has given me this one understanding, and I beg to be blessed with this understanding forever and ever, and that is Sabna Jiya Ka Ata, the creator of all this expansion, the species, the living and non-living organisms, is one. So main visar na jai, May I never forget this truth. Sangat Ji, this brings me to the end of this discourse. We are all one. We are all children of the one Creator. Wherever we are in life, whatever our past is, let's leave this all behind and listen and just apply one of the divine teachings of our gurus and prophets, and let's transform ourselves together and start this beautiful journey within. Forgive me for our many mistakes, Sangat Ji, and continue to bless us all so we can continue for the Sangat. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.